Ooh, I have an itchy. I'm like, oh, itchy, 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 itchy. Hello, YouTube. It's RJ the West here, and my friend Last Time VOC. Welcome back to another video of my world building thought experiments. This is part 4 of the adventures of RJ and Jordan in ancient Greece. Give me a sec. Just gotta check to see if I'm live. Excellent. I should probably charge this phone. Ugh, I hate hearing myself twice. Okay, guys, just give me a sec. Everything is going to be ready in a few. Alright, so we're going to pick up where we left off from the last live stream. The gods were basically watching us as we just recently did something. I don't... Alright, the view from Olympus. I should probably get out of this water. We're going to get cramps. Okay. Up on Mount Olympus, the divine pool is in an absolute uproar, and Dionysus is practically falling into the water with delight. Ha! Did you hear what the small gray scholar, who's Delphi, he asks? He is sitting in the very heart of ancient Greece, completely high on his future gems. And he has entirely forgotten my father's most famous oracle. He is, This is true freedom of the spirit. He has bypassed the priests in the temples entirely. Zeus, the king of gods, king of the gods. The mortal knight defeats my centaurs, teaches a daughter of the crags to wield a thunderbow, and he has reduced her to a state of dreamy slowness while forgetting the geography of my emperor. He is a magnificent dork. Jordan settles back onto his cot, watching Cynthia happily trace the woven pattern of your carbon fiber chair. I'm not gonna lie, I do love the nymphs. Alright. Your smartphone clock reads exactly 12:37 p.m. as Jordan lets out a pragmatic sigh. He lets out a sigh, pushes past the ache of his bandaged shoulder, he gets off his cot. He grabs the futuristic composite fabric patches and adhesive from your storage container and already sets to work sealing the jagged holes Brack tore in the photovoltaic the walls. Meanwhile, Cynthia has completely drifted over to Jordan's empty cot. She is curled up, entirely relaxed. Her teal hair splayed across the fabric as the 5 milligram THC gummy keeps her water spirit biology in a state of deep, dreamy bliss. You lean back on your own bed. Your autism and love for data tracking surge right through the high headspace. You touch the small, heavy collar magnet resting right against your skin. Hey, Cynthia, do you think the magnets I have will make you guys stronger? You ask. Your soft voice, gentle and slow. I love magnets. I have a small but powerful magnet on the collar of my shirt, right here, with the south polarity facing towards me. I'm wondering if you can actually become stronger with my magnets. Cynthia doesn't move her body from the cot, but her light blue eyes slowly roll over to look at your collar. A massive, dreamy, unblinking smile spreads across her pale face. She speaks a slow, rhythmic whisper that sounds like water trickling over smooth glacial glass. The south polarity, facing your throat. Oh, wise scholar. I can feel it from here. It is a tiny, heavy sun pulling at the iron in my sister's Era's rivers. When Era touched your big vessel earlier, her springs did not break. They were screaming because they wanted to dance with it. Can your iron stones make us stronger? Yes. Oh, yes. We are the water, RJ. The water is wild and heavy, but it has no shape until the earth guides it. Your magnets, They are the invisible fingers of the mountain. Combing through our currents, they make the chaotic streams inside us march in a perfect straight line. She lifts a pale hand slowly toward the ceiling, tracing an invisible grid in the air-conditioned air. If you strapped your tiny stone stars to my wrists, my waters would not scatter when Brack fires his arrows. They would harden like your gray steel skin. We would not just be strong, scholar. We would be a tidal wave wrapped in your numbers. You should put more magnets on my head. The physics of their biology. Ira steps through the newly patched tent flap. Oh, that's right. My controller's right here. It's not even plugged in because I had to plug it in with my phone. Ooh, I saw. Whoa, I'm getting like a frame rate drop over here, guys. That's so weird. Hope I don't get lagged out or something. I'm just positioning myself. God, I look like the postal dude wearing a hat. Alright, Ira steps through the newly patched tent flap, her towering 7-foot frame casting a long shadow across the macroplate floor. Her dark silver chain bikini catches the soft light as she blocks the warm midday sun. She completely ignores the high-energy pop music and marches right toward your carbon fiber cot. Her deep blue eyes fixed on you with an intense, unblinking gravity. She heard your soft voice through the torn fabric, and your analytical question about making her sisterhood stronger has ignited her protective warrior instincts. She stops right at the edge of your bed, looming over your relaxed frame. She points a massive pale finger directly at the small, heavy magnet resting on your shirt collar. You guys can't see it, but I do actually wear a rare earth magnet on the collar of my shirt with the south side facing directly toward my throat. It magnetizes my blood. Scholar! Ira rumbles, her river stone voice echoing with a deep, serious resonance. My sister speaks of tidal waves and stone stars, but her mind is drifting in your future clouds. Speak to me with your true numeric tongue. You ask if these invisible iron forces can make my family stronger? She takes a slow breath, her posture rigid. When I touched your gray water vessel earlier, the current in my veins didn't merely shake, it locked. It felt as though the deep bones of the mountain were violently gripping the fluids of my soul. If a tiny stone upon your collar holds a self-polarity that pulls at the earth, tell me the truth. Can your grids truly forge an armor within our streams? Or will your magnets bind our spirits and turn us into slaves to your machinery? Alright. At 12:45 p.m., Jordan stops, smoothing down the composite adhesive patch on the window. He looks over his shoulder, his mature face serious as his mind tracks Ira's intense interrogation. He keeps his hand near his tactical belt, just in case her protective nature turns aggressive again. Over at Jordan's cot, Cynthia merely lets out a soft, dreamy sigh, completely unbothered by her eldest sister's looming presence as the THC gummy that she consumed continues to deliver a heavy, peaceful buzz. Your autism and love for physical data are fully stimulated, but your 5 milligram high has you entirely relaxed. You are staring up a 7-foot water giant you are staring up at a 7-foot water giant asking you a definitive scientific breakthrough on nymph biology. You look up the towering 7-foot water giant from the comfort of your blanket. Your soft voice calm, slow, and completely unbothered by her intense glare. It is possible that they could make you stronger, not physically, but more environmental control. You explain smoothly, your analytical mind perfectly articulating your theory through the cozy haze of the 5 milligram THC gummy. People like control. You add simply before letting out another soft, relaxed giggle. Ira blinks down at you, her massive posture remaining completely rigid over her dark silver chain bikini top. She tries to process the word environmental control while you casually giggle from your cot. Before she can demand a deeper scientific explanation, her blue-haired head, wait, before she can demand a deeper scientific, the tent flap rustles, and Narina peeks her blue-haired head inside to check on the commotion. Inside the tent, 12:48 p.m. Yes, I do use timestamps, guys. We still have a schedule in here. Narina looks from her high sister Cynthia, who is still smiling dreamily at the ceiling on Jordan's cot, to the towering Ira, and finally to your relaxed frame. All is well within the gray walls? Narina asks softly, her pale cheeks flushing slightly with her usual gentle shyness. Jordan lets out a deep chuckle as he finishes smoothing down the composite repair patch over the window. Yeah, everything's fine, Narina. He rumbles in his deep voice. RJ is just casually redefining ancient biology while flat on his back. Standard afternoon. That's funny. With Jordan finishing the patch kit, the tent's climate control system starts to win the battle against the midday heat again. The crisp, cool air conditioning circulates smoothly, I have an itchy on my ankle. Relaxing, multitasking. The crisp, cool air conditioning circulates smoothly, mixing with the fading echoes of the high-energy pop music. Oh, God. The view from Olympus. Up on Mount Olympus, the divine pool reflects the peaceful domestic scene. Hephaestus is completely captivated by your comment about environmental control, scratching his chin as he wonders if your collar magnet is a key to manipulating the natural elements. Dionysus is still chuckling at your relaxed demeanor, thoroughly enjoying your gummy-induced confidence in front of a terrifying 7-foot nymph. Ira shifts her gaze from you to Narina, then back down to your collar magnet. The sheer, harmless honesty of your soft giggle seems to reassure her that you have absolutely no intention on turning her sisterhood into slaves to your machinery. You push... Okay, let's see. Alright, guys. You push past the heavy relaxation of the 5 milligram THC, sliding out of your soft blanket and standing up on your macro plate floor. Your back is still a bit sore from Brack's arrow, but your love for magnetic data keeps you moving. Okay, let me get one of my favorites. You say in your soft voice. Okay, let me get one of my favorites. You say in your soft voice. Walking over to your high-tech storage container. It's a big chunk of magnets. Do not get it close to your bikini tops. Jordan pauses near his cot, his face instantly tensing up. RJ, are you serious right now? By the way, like I said, guys, Jordan actually doesn't call me by my name. So you know that if the AI gives Jordan dialogue, and it actually has my name on it, you know it's the AI giving Jordan dialogue. RJ, are you serious right now? He mutters in his deep voice. You remember what happened when she just touched the water pitcher? You're giving a 7-foot water giant a massive chunk of rare earth metals. And ignoring Jordan's warning, you pull out a heavy, steady, blocky stack of industrial-strength neodymium magnets. They snap and hum with intense, invisible force. You turn to the towering Ira and place the heavy metal blocks onto her palm, delivering your analytical safety warning about her dark silver chain bikini top. To be completely honest, to a 7-foot giant ancient 7-foot ancient water mountain water nymph, whose entire physical and spiritual existence is tied to the iron veins and rushing currents of the crags. Holding an industrial-strength block of modern magnets is a profoundly shocking, near-shamanic experience. Man, that was hard to read. Ira's actual reaction and dialogue. The moment your black and gray gloved hand releases the heavy magnetic block into Ira's palm, her entire 7-foot frame rigidifies like a marble statue. Her toes curl into the microplates, and her deep blue eyes widen to the size of coins. She doesn't drop it. Her massive hand locks shut as the thousands of gauss of localized magnetic flux density, while the stone Cynthia merely giggles dreamily from Jordan's cot. Watching her terrifying eldest sister get physically folded by a gray brick. Ira lets out a deep, shuddering gasp that sounds like a subterranean river bursting through solid stone. She strains against the massive magnetic pull, using her raw 7-foot nymph strength to slowly force her hand away from her chain bikini, holding the vibrating block out of arm's length. Her Riverstone voice shakes with absolute breathless awe and spiritual terror. By the primordial depths, this is no stone, scholar. It is a living fissure trapped in a gray square. It has no hands, yet it commands my garments with the strength of a titan. I can feel the deep roots of the valley rushing up beneath my sandals. It is pulling the hidden iron out of my very bronze tools being thrown in a furious tantrum. Hephaestus, the god of fire and forging, is hobbling around his golden anvil, his face flushed crimson beneath his thick beard as he gestures wildly toward the divine sight pool. He turns to Zeus's throne, waving a massive smithing hammer in the air, his voice cracking with absolute professional jealousy. Father, look at them! Look at the words of the mountain crust. Zeus, calm your forge, son. The scholar explicitly warned the giant maid not to place the starstone near her silver chains. She disobeyed his analytical instruction, and the cosmos has corrected her with loud clang. It is a comedy, not a conquest. Ares! No, Hephaestus is right to scream. No, no, Hephaestus is right to scream. Did you hear what the giant water maid Ira just said? She realized the battlefield potential. If we forge shields with these neodymium properties, we can yank the swords and bronze spears right out of the hands of the Spartan phalanx before a single drop of blood is spilled. The scholar is teaching the nymphs the future of warfare while he giggles in his blanket. It is exactly 1 p.m. back in the tent. Down in your climate-controlled mountain sanctuary, the high-energy pop music keeps playing from the Bluetooth boombox. I'm going to go ahead and stand outside now, because there we go. Ira is still holding the heavy stack of industrial magnets at arm's length. Her 7-foot frame tense as she feels the intense, invisible vibrations humming through her water spirit palms. Jordan rubs his temples, looking over at you with a grin. RJ, you really need to take that chunk of metal back before she accidentally pulls the oven off the counter or snaps herself in the vault. He rumbles pragmatically in his deep voice. You stay melted in your soft blanket on the carbon fiber cot. Your analytical mind drifting through the delightful, foggy haze of the 5-milligram THC gummy. You trace the invisible metallic gleam of Ira's dark silver chain bikini top, your autism and love for precise data locking onto the specific elemental properties of her wardrobe. It's funny that Ira's bikini top is made of iron, cobalt, or nickel. I bet it's made of nickel, you muse aloud. Your soft voice slow and dreamlike over the pop music. Who crafted their bikinis anyway? It looks so shiny and feminine. The skirts look so comfortable, you add, before simply letting out another soft, relaxed giggle. Jordan shifts his posture on his own cot, letting out a deep voiced chuckle as he shakes his mature face. Dude, only you would look at a 7-foot water giant actively wrestling an industrial magnet and try to calculate the metallurgical percentage of her swimwear. He rumbles. Over on Jordan's cot, Cynthia doesn't even open her light blue eyes. The edible has her water spirit biology completely floating in a serene, warm current. Hearing her question about her clothes, she lets out a long, slow, melodic sigh. Her teal hair splayed across the mattress as she calmly breaks down the ancient magical engineering of their outfits in a dreamy whisper. Oh, wise scholar, no blacksmith of the mortal realms ever hammered these chains. They are not forged from the heavy iron of the earth. When the full moon shines upon the deepest glacial springs, the waters freeze into tiny silver scales. Narina weaves them together with the invisible threads of the mountain mist. They are shiny because they carry the light of Selene's silver chariots. They are made of moon water. RJ, that's why your Ironstone loves them so. She shifts her legs slowly under her turquoise long skirt, letting out a soft hum of absolute comfort. In the skirts, they are not spun from the rough wool of the valley sheep. We dive into the deep, dark pools where the mountain moss grows as soft as down. We spin the moss with the silk of the water spiders. They are comfortable because they are meant to flow with the current. They feel like a constant, cool embrace from the stream. If you wore one, scholar, your gray light jacket would feel like a rough bark. You would float like a swan. As Cynthia's dreamy explanation fails, I gotta turn my chair off. Trails. As Cynthia's dreamy explanation trails off back into a low hum of the tent, Narina blushes a brilliant crimson down the doorway, burying her pale face in her hands over her navy-long skirt, thoroughly embarrassed by her younger sister's uninhabited high rambling. She stands completely frozen in the center of the microplate floor, still carefully holding the heavy chunk. Ira stands completely frozen in the center of the microplate floor, still carefully holding the heavy chunk of neodymium magnets away from her chest. Her Riverstone voice drops to a quiet, bewildered rumble as she looks down at you, pure delighted amusement before you break into a series of long, quiet giggles. Jordan just shakes his head with a wide, mature grin, completely entertained by how easily your analytical mind accepted the magical nymph explanation while you're high. Up on Mount Olympus, Dionysus is absolutely losing his mind. He is leaning so far over the shimmering pool of divine sight that his crown of ivy leaves is nearly touching the water. He is the god who literally commands the boundaries of reality to blur. Seeing two mortals and a stone mountain water nymph lounging in an air-conditioned tent giggling about moonbeams is exactly the kind of chaotic, joyful reverie he lives for. While the other gods are plotting wars and studying your technology, Dionysus is the only god who thinks, "These are my kind of people. I need to bring them some wine." He snaps his fingers, his eyes flashing with a bright purple light as he addresses the other gods with absolute dramatic flair. Look at them! They have transcended the boring boundary. Look at them! They have transcended the boring boundaries of their time rift. The scholar is singing of moonbeams and giggling in his fleece, completely unbothered by the iron ballistas of the wild. He has achieved a state of perfect, unclouded enthusiasmos without even pouring a single drop of my vintage. I am... I am descending to the mountain pass to this very instant, Zeus. Do not dare throw a thunderbolt and ruin this vibe. I will weave a cloak in wild goat skin, entwine purple grapes into my hair, and take the form of a traveling taverner from the valleys of Nysa. I am bringing them a jar of my oldest, sweetest wine. We are going to turn that slate gray temple into a festival that will make the satyrs weep with envy. It is currently 1:15 p.m. inside the tent. Back inside your patched, climate-controlled sanctuary, the high energy pop music continues to play from the Bluetooth boombox. Ira finally steps forward and carefully sets the heavy chunk of industrial neodymium bags onto the counter, letting out a massive sigh of relief as her 7-foot frame relaxes over her dark silver chain bikini. Suddenly, the warm midday air outside the tent begins to smell incredibly sweet, like crushed, ripening grapes and rich fermented honey. Ugh. Through the patched one-way windows, you and Jordan hear the sound of a lute playing a joyful, lazy, joyful melody, accompanied by a light, staggering footsteps of a traveler coming down the mountain trail. A voice calls out from just outside the tent. It is the tent flap. It is a smooth, a little slurred, and completely brimming with infectious theatrical warmth. Ho there, keepers of the winter boulder, travelers of the gray slate metal. I hear the sound of your phantom musicians throwing a grand festival inside, yet your cups so dry. I am a wandering wine merchant from the valleys below, carrying a vintage blessed by the spirits of joy themselves. May a weary traveler enter your sanctuary and share a cup of ecstasy with the wizard of the moonbeams. Jordan blinks, his mind instantly tracking the sun bizarre change in the mountain atmosphere. He looks down at your relaxed, giggling frame. RJ, Jordan rumbles in his deep voice, a mix of disbelief and absolute amusement on his face. I think your gummy day just drew the attention of the local nightlife. You push your blanket aside, your high keeping your movements smooth and your soft face completely relaxed as you step out of the climate-controlled tent. Your gray light jacket and track pants flutter slightly in the mountain breeze, and you adjust your Upper Michigan leather hat over your permanent headband. You stand face to face with the traveling taverner, whose purple-tinted eyes sparkle with wild theatrical amusement. Hey, another merchant! You say, your gentle voice carrying a slow, calm cadence. We got some arrows, including these big ones, and if you're interested, I got a bag of gummies too. They are sweet. It's not recommended you take more than one, and I highly recommend you don't eat one while on the road, especially alone. Anyways, what do you have to trade? Dionys's absolute delight. The disguised god of ecstasy looks down at the massive iron-tipped cyclops arrows you point to, and in his gaze locks onto the bag of colorful THC gummies in your blackened glove hand. To be given a professional safety lecture on a magical future herb by a soft-voiced mortal completely thrills his divine soul. Dionysus lets out a loud, melodic laugh that sounds like wine pouring into a golden goblet. A caution of the road! A sacred jewel so potent that a traveler must not consume it alone beneath the stars. He reaches out, his fingers smelling intently of crushed grapes as he takes a single gummy from your hand. He examines the perfect factory-molded geometry. By the vines, scholar! It is the most beautiful compact treasure of plant magic I have ever beheld. It has no leaves, yet it holds the spirit of the earth's joy. He pops it onto his tongue, his face instantly lighting up with precise, sweet flavor profile. Opening the wine jars. Thoroughly charmed by your futuristic hospitality and your massive harvested arrows, The disguised god kicks a heavy clay amphora forward with his sandal foot, breaking the wax seal with a flourish. For your star metal shafts in this magnificent sweet jewel, I will offer the only currency that matters in the valleys of Nysa, or Nysa. Dionysus proclaims with a sweeping theatrical flair. Alright. He displays his legendary trades for your camp table. The Vintage of Ecstasy, a massive ceramic jar filled with his oldest, darkest ivy wine, a thick, sweet nectar that smells so rich it instantly makes your analytical brain trap the olfactory density of the air. The Festive Garland, a beautifully woven crown of fresh ivy and wild mountain roses, pulsing with a strange faint green vitality. The Golden Lyre Trinket, a small, heavy golden charm shaped like Apollo's lyre, which seems to faintly chime with a beautiful melody whenever the mountain wind catches it. Behind you, Jordan peeks his face out of the tent flap, his hand resting near his wrapped obsidian dagger, his deep voice carrying a tone of absolute disbelief. Jordan rumbles, letting out a chuckle. First, you bought the local silver with Ritz crackers, and now you're bartering with the local barkeep with your personal weed stash. You're a regular tycoon, dude. You turn your soft face back toward the tent, looking at your companion with a slow, relaxed smile under your upper. I have more, you say in your gentle voice. Your analytical mind perfectly tracking your inventory while the efforts of an edible keep you completely unbothered by parting with a couple of items. You turn back to the disguised god, your autism and love for sensory details immediately locking onto the vibrant colors and natural textures of his wares. Oh, let's see. My brain is telling me that the flowers would make an excellent addition to our tent. And you, Jordan? Jordan steps fully out of the tent entrance, his mature face crossing into a grin as he eyes the trades. The Golden Lyre Trinket looks nice. Jordan rumbles in his deep voice, his fingers lightly touching the heavy chiming charm. We will take the Festive Garland and the Trinket, you announce to the merchant, finalizing the deal with a smooth, calm confidence. The exchange. Dionysus hands you the beautifully woven crown of fresh flowers. Dionysus hands you the beautifully woven crown of fresh ivy and wild mountain roses. The moment your black and gray gloves touch the items, you can feel the strange faint green vitality pulsing through the leaves, instantly filling your nose with the rich scent of a blooming forest. Jordan takes the heavy golden charm, which lets out a soft, beautiful melody as the wind catches its tiny strings. He turns it over in his hand, highly satisfied with its weight. The god's plunder. Eager to secure more of your futuristic cannabis, Dionysus happily takes the rest of the arrows and cradles his newly acquired bag of sweets under his arm like a king holding a pouch of diamonds. The edible already starting to bring a warm, radiant flush to his cheeks. Inside the tent at 1:30 p.m. You and Jordan step back into the climate-controlled safety of the tent and to display your new historical treasures. You carefully drape the vibrant festive garland over your high-tech storage container, immediately masking the faint smell of hot electronics with the fresh scent of mountain roses. I wonder what mountain roses would even smell like. But honestly, like, the options sounded awesome. I would definitely pick the flowers. I am hearing rain. Gotta stand next to my buddy. There we go. Jordan places the musical golden charm next to the Bluetooth boombox. letting out its natural chimes blend with the low rhythm of the music. Over on Jordan's cot, Cynthia lets out a long, sleepy sigh as her own edible keeps her floating, her light blue eyes looking up at the ceiling as she watches the music frogs dance around the new flowers. Ira and Narina stand nearby, their blue eyes wide with deep reverence as they look at the garland you have just traded. A garland that bears the unmistakable divine aurora of the Lord of the Vineyards himself. Dionys freezes in his tracks, his theater-loving soul instantly captivated by her casual declaration. He turns his head slowly, his purple-tinted eyes mixed wide with a mixture of absolute shock and mounting hilarity as he looks at your relaxed, unarmored frame in the gray light tent and in your light jacket and track pants. You stand there completely unbothered, your soft face smiling under your leather hat. Dogs. I bet you guys can hear them. You definitely can hear Bonnie. She's loud. Can you believe I got shot in the chest and back by those big arrows? They hurt, you say in your gentle voice, before letting out a long series of multiple quiet giggles. The disguised god of wine lets out a booming, theatrical laugh that echoes off the rocky overpass. By the blood of the earth, scholar, you take a ballista bolt to the breast, a siege spike to the spine, and you speak as if it merely stubbed your toe on a river stone. He shakes with his head, his ivy crown swaying. You are a creature of pure, beautiful madness. Drink deep in your future gems, wizard of the moonbeams. Oh no, I have 13 seconds before I get kicked. I know I have it last time. You guys were there. With this grand, sweeping bow, Dionysus vanishes around the mountain bend, cradling his pouch of weed gummies like a priceless royal treasure. The Council of Olympus, the ultimate buzz. High above the crags, Dionysus bursts back into... Wait. I'm gonna turn my chair on. High above the crags, Dionysus bursts back into the clouds of Mount Olympus, completely abandoning his merchant disguise. His cheeks are flushed with a bright, radiant pink, and his eyes are wide and glassy as the 5 milligram gummy fully hits his divine water spirit biology. He slides heavily onto his golden throne, letting out a long, happy sigh that smells intently of sweet grape jelly. The other gods crowd around the shimmering pool of divine light, staring at him in utter bewilderment. Oh, the travelers of the heavens! The wine vats are empty to me now. Forget the grapes. Forget the nectar. The scholar's spiritual jewel has dissolved into my immortality. My veins feel like a slow, warm summer river. If everything is floating, the clouds are very soft today. On your resilience. And did you hear his parting riddle? He stands on the gravel, giggles like a joyful child, and says, "They hurt." He survived Brack's iron fury from the front and the rear, and he treats a mortal death blow like a common bee sting. He has a mind of pure geometry and a body that mocks the fates. Zeus. He has corrupted the Lord of the Vineyards. Look at Dionysus. He is staring down at his own fingers as if they were spinning wheels. They do kind of look like spinning wheels when you think about it. The analytical traveler RJ is dismantling the dignity of my court with tiny colored candies and soft giggles. Inside the sanctuary at 1:45 p.m. Back in your high-tech, freshly patched tent, the atmosphere is completely peaceful. The fresh mountain roses and ivy from the festive garland fill the air with a beautiful, deep forest scent, masking the smell of electronic components. The golden lyre trinket lets out a soft, beautiful melody as the air conditioner blows against its tiny strings, blending perfectly with the low rhythm of the pop music. You sink back down into your carbon fiber cot, completely exhausted but entirely comfortable as the THC gummy completely numbs the deep purple bruise on your back. Jordan sits on his own bed, looking at you with a wide grin. Well, RJ, he rumbles, you officially traded two gods, you traded with two gods, got a magic wreath, and your favorite boxers are still on that nymph's head. I say your calculation for this camping trip is a complete success. Ira and Narina step through the newly patched temp flip, their blue eyes instantly scanning the climate-controlled space. They spot Cynthia curled up on Jordan's cot, still smiling dreamily at the ceiling with her teal hair swayed across the mattress, completely floating in her THC gummy bliss. You push past the heavy relaxation of your own cot, standing up at the microplate floor in your great light tent, jacket, and track pants. Your back is still a little bit tender, but your analytical mind is fully focused on decorating. Hey, what do you guys think? You ask, your soft voice calm and steady over the quiet pop music. With your black and gray gloved hands, you lift the vibrant festive garland. You reach up and carefully drape it over the woven mountain roses and fresh ivy onto a utility hook right in the dead center of the tent ceiling. The moment the garland settles, the low draft from the air conditioning catches the petals, instantly sending a deep, sweet, and incredibly rich forest aroma circulating through the entire tent. Narina's awe. The middle sister gasps softly, her pale cheeks flushing as she looks up at the hanging flowers. She recognizes the undeniable, intoxicating essence of Dionysus pulsing through the leaves. It is beautiful, RJ, she whispers, her blue eyes shining with deep gratitude. You have brought the very heart of the sacred groves inside your gray walls. It smells like spring after a long winter. Now, Ira's respect. The 7-foot protective giant stands beneath the garland, her dark silver chain bikini catching the ambient light. She tilts her head back, her riverstone dripping to a quiet rumble. You are a strange mortal, scholar. You fight like a fury. You speak in the language of grids, yet you hang the blossoms of the vineyard lord from your ceiling to make your sanctuary welcoming for my family. Your hospitality is as deep as the mountain. Cynthia's coo. From the cot, the stoned Cynthia lets out a sleepy, melodic giggle, watching a loose rose petal drift down to the flame. The music frogs have a garden now. She murmurs dreamily. Jordan leans back on his own bed, nursing his bandaged shoulder with a wide grin on his mature face. Looks like your interior design choices made a huge hit with the locals, dude. He rumbles. The tent officially smells better than anchovy pizzas now. Oh, that's funny. You sink back down into your blanket. The heavy 5 milligram THC buzz making your body feel incredibly warm and light on the carbon fiber cot. Jordan's teasing comment about the anchovy pizza hits your high headspace perfectly. You look over to his mature face, completely unable to hold back your amusement, and break into a series of uncontrollable, quiet, unstoppable giggles. Jordan lets out a deep voiced chuckle of his own, glad to see her high emotional responses filled with the pure comfort now instead of battling anxiety. A moment of perfect peace at 1:50 p.m. The tent Ow. Ow. That hurt my jaw a little. The tent is finally secure, cool, and perfectly balanced. The fresh scent of mountain roses from the garland overrides everything, drifting through the air-conditioned breeze. Next to the Bluetooth boombox, the golden lyre trinket continues to chime with the soft, beautiful, self-playing melody that blends seamlessly with the fading pop music. Cynthia has officially closed her eyes on the cot. Her breathing is slow and peaceful. Narina sits beside her, smiling gently at your soft giggles, while the 7-foot Ira stands guard by the doorway, her silver chain bikini catching the quiet interior light as she keeps watch. I got another yawn. Ugh. Sorry about that, guys. Your analytical mind can finally rest. The centaurs have fled. Oh, of course, now I got salty tears. How annoying. And the dogs are barking again. Your analytical mind can finally rest. The centaurs have fled. The earth burrowers are currently silent. The nymphs are your local allies. And you have a pouch of ancient silver coins safely stored away. Your temporal camping trip turned into an absolute tactical success. Nice. I fell asleep. Jordan steps out of the tent with Narina and Ira. Brack is summoning his war counts. Oh, that's right. Hold on a second, guys. I was just reading the prompt. You pull your blanket tightly around your shoulders, your soft face. Of course, I got another guy. Ugh. Damn it. Yawning causes tears, and tears make my eyes itch. Sorry about that, guys. It's that time. You pull your blanket tightly around your shoulders. Your soft face finally relaxes as the THC gummy heavy lids your eyes. Your analytical mind shuts down for a well-deserved rest. Nice. You whisper in your gentle voice before falling into a deep, peaceful sleep. Jordan stands up quietly from his cot, his face serious as he motions to Ira and Narina, leaving the sleeping Cynthia inside the cool, rose-scented air of the tent. The three of you step out. Well, technically, I'm actually makes no sense, but whatever. The three of you step out a bright afternoon. Jordan checks his bandaged shoulder pragmatic. He checks his shoulder, keeping his hand near his wrapped obsidian dagger as he... Damn it. He's still holding the dagger in his hand, keeping his hand near his obsidian wrapped dagger as he stands guard at the perimeter with the two elder nymphs. Meanwhile, with the jagged, blood-stained ravine high above the mist line, Brack has gathered the remnants of his war council. The air is thick with the scent of burning pine, and my eyes are itchy again. Oh, of course they are. Give me a sec. Ugh. So annoying. Yawning, then that. Brack stands before the two final surviving centaur archers and a few grizzled elder chieftains who did not join the raid. Clutching his heavy bandaged, bleeding hip where your tungsten bolt slashed his side, Brack's dark skin glistens with rage. He slams a massive hoof into a boulder, shattering a layer of slate, and roars out his honest, brutal assessment of the second defeat. We marched 20 strong. 20 of our finest bowmen encircled their slate-grade temple on the overpass. It should have been a glorious cleansing of our peaks, yet 13 of our brothers now lie dead in the dirt, their chests torn open by the demons' star-metal thunderbows. The invaders are changing the very laws of the wild. The gray one, the small one who shrugged off the siege spikes of the Cyclops bow, didn't even draw a blade. He stood like an immovable wall of steel, catching our bronze arrows upon his chest while he instructed the water maid, Cynthia, the youngest nymph, who used to flee into the deep pools at the mere sound of our hooves. She was handed one of their metallic wind machines. With a mere click of her pale finger, she looked through the enchanted glass tube and took the lives of two of our finest archers. They are turning the cowardly spirits of the springs into cold mechanical executioners. I loosened my final shaft and struck the gray one right in his spine, forcing him to face first into the dust. Yet he arose, giggling in the face of death, and protected the terror in his fortress walls. Their thunderclaps and their strange booming music breaks have echoed too deeply. The mountain itself is shifting. The earth burrowers have stirred into the deep trenches. The new low for the long war. We cannot face them on the open ridges while they command the star medal and the allegiance of the Water Sisters. We will bide our time in the high peaks. Let the earth burrowers churn beneath the let the earth burrowers churn beneath their glowing floor plates. Let the ancient monsters drag their slate gray sanctuary into the belly of the underworld. When the mountain cracks open and their fortress slides into the dark, that is when we will hunt them down to survivors. Erase our tracks. The peak belongs to the patient. Back at the campsite, the mountain pass falls into a heavy, deceptive stillness. Jordan stands broad-shouldered alongside the 7-foot Era and the gentle Narina, their eyes scanning the silent ridges while you sleep peacefully inside the tent. The mountain twilight deepens into a heavy, dark purple as the clock on your sleeping smartphone shifts exactly to 7:24 p.m. Deep within the high crags, Brack's demoralized war council is suddenly shattered by the thunderous, earth-shaking rhythm of approaching hooves. The two surviving Centaur scouts scramble backward in fear as a massive silhouette explodes into a firelight of the hidden ravine. This is Grakita. She is Brack's sister, and she is a terrifying, muscular force of nature. Standing even taller and broader than her own brother, her dark skin glistens under the evening sky. Slung over her massive, powerful shoulder is a colossal, primitive battle axe made of raw, heavy iron, a weapon forged to split shields and crush stone. She halts right in front of the bleeding Brack, her massive horse hooves kicking up a cloud of mountain dust. She looks down at the bandaged, bleeding hip where your tungsten bolt slashed him, her face twisting into a sneer of absolute disdain. "Look at the chieftain of the peaks," Grakita roars, her voice a deep, savage rumble that shakes the loose stones of the ravine. "You crawl back into the mountains like a whipped dog, clutching your flank because a small mortal in gray clothes grazed your skin. You lost 13 of our finest brothers to a simple gray giant." The calm of the absolute slaughter. "You speak of star metal thunderbows and nymphs who click their fingers to bring death. You speak of the great to do a warrior's work. Let your wounds heal, brother. Tomorrow, my axe will drink the blood of the Moonbeam Wizard. I see you, Gracie." Brack glares up at his massive sister, his jaw clenched in a mix of bruised pride and bitter understanding of her terrifying strength. As the three nymphs, Jordan and I gathered around... Whoops. Okay. What? Alright. Okay, guys. Sorry, I was at a weird search response there. You step back over your high-tech cooler and dresser drawers while Jordan and the elder nymphs look on. Your analytical mind tracks the exact layout of your evening pool. "Hey, it's snack time. I'll be right back," you announcing softly in the group. Cynthia, whose teal hair bounces as she steps away from Jordan's cot, tilts her head with wide, light blue eyes. What are you having, weird scholar? A piece of dark chocolate, a handful of unsalted nuts, and a 20 milligram THC gummy. You reply with your usual universal honesty. Because Cynthia is a water spirit with zero concept of modern pharmaceutical dosing, milligrams, or tolerance levels, she doesn't realize that 20 milligrams is 4 times stronger than a tiny 5 milligram jewel she had earlier. In her stoned, joyful logic, if a small jewel made her see friendly blue frogs, a bigger one must be even more magical. Cynthia bounces straight up to you, completely ignoring her folded blue boxes. 20, a jewel 4 times more radiant than the first. She stretches her pale hands out toward your stash box, her light blue eyes gleaming with absolute unbothered excitement. Oh, wise RJ, please! The sun is set, the mountain is growing cold, and Gracchus' hooves might thunder tomorrow. Let me slide back into that warm, floating current. Give me the giant future gem, so my soul could dance with the moonbeams again. Look at Gracie's face. Look at my baby's face. Oh, yes. Narina's cheeks turn a brilliant navy crimson. She quickly steps between you and her younger Cynthia. Cynthia, stop! Have you lost your mind to the stream, Clay? The scholars said this stone is massive. Your waters are still heavy from the first sweet. If you consume a warrior's full ration, you will dissolve into mist and forget how to speak entirely. Ira. The 7-foot protected giant steps forward, her stark silver chain beginning tightening as she glares down at the bag of edibles. Her Riverstone voice is completely unyielding. No, the scholar uses the heavy raisin to numb the purple trauma on his spine. You are a child of the shallow pools, Cynthia. You will not touch the 20 milligram starstone. If you wish to float, you go dip your feet in the natural current. Jordan finishes adjusting the fresh gauze on his shoulder, letting out a massive booming laugh that bounces off the newly patched photovoltaic walls. Dude, Jordan rumbles in his deep voice, shaking his mature face. Do not give her 20 milligrams. If 5 milligrams had thinking your underwear was a sacred crown, 20 milligrams will have her trying to colonize Mars from inside this tent. Keep your stash locked up, RJ. You stand there in your gray light jacket, holding the dark chocolate, the unsalted nuts, and the heavy 20 gummy in your black and gray gloves, letting out a soft giggle at the absolute chaos your snack choices are causing. You turn your soft face towards Cynthia, your voice gentle but entirely absolute in its analytical reasoning. I'm sorry, Cynthia. Your sister, Era, has final say. Cynthia lets out a dramatic, playful pout, her teal hair swaying as she steps back forward Jordan's cot. While the 7-foot Era gives you a firm, appreciative nod over her dark silver chain bikini top, you walk back over to the main group, carefully popping the dark chocolate, the handful of unsalted nuts, and the potent THC gummy into your mouth. Jordan looks up to his head, a massive knowing grin on his face. Hey, heard Ira said no. He rumbles in his deep voice. Yeah, rules are rules. You reply with a complete unbothered honesty as you sit down in your carbon fiber cot. Up on Mount Olympus, the divine sight pool reflects your cozy evening snack routine, and the gods are absolutely fascinated by your unwavering respect for tribal hierarchy, even when you are casually consuming a highly potent future candy. Hera, look at the small gray traveler. He understands the sacred order of the household. He does not yield to the whining of the youngest child. He recognizes that the eldest sister carries the sovereign authority of the bloodline. Rules are rules, he says. Finally, a mortal from the future who possesses a shred of respect for discipline and tradition. Zeus. Hera is blinded by his obedience, but my eyes are fixed on the horizon. The small one has just swallowed a concentrated green jewel of madness. If a smaller dose turned his mind into a playground of giggles, this large ration will significantly impact his analytical brain, and he chooses this moment to slumber while Grakata's massive iron axe is being sharpened in the high ridges. Ares, let him feed his spirit with the heavy raisins. He will need the absolute numbness tomorrow. Did you see her? She doesn't hide behind the rocks like her brother Brack. She has a skull crusher solid iron, and she promises to tear their slate gray temple open from the roof of the floor plates. Tomorrow's slaughter will be glorious. Dionysus, a high potency dose, all for himself. Look at his face. It is already growing soft, and his eyes are drifting into the sweet clouds of the cosmos. He is a king lounging on his gray fleece. I would give up 1,000 golden amphoras for my oldest vintage just to sit on that black woven throne beside him and giggle about moonbeams under the sun rises. Inside the sanctuary. Back 7:45 p.m. Back inside your climate-controlled tent, the fresh scent of mountain roses from the festive garland hangs heavy in the air. The golden lyre trinket continues to chime with its soft, self-playing melody, perfectly blending with the quiet pop music. As the edible begins to deliver a massive warm wave of relaxation straight to your bruised back, the entire tent feels completely safe and peaceful. Jordan looks at you, leaning back against his cot. Well, he says in his deep voice, the structural patches are holding, the nymphs are guarding the door, and you're about to be completely horizontal. Let's hope your rules keep us safe until this morning. Alright guys, so this is actually where I'm gonna get it off. I know it's a few minutes early, but like the next big chapter is gonna take place after this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, and thank you guys for watching. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.